What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian Colon from House of Wrestling, and this is my review for the August 1st episode of WWE Monday Night Raw. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Tonight's Raw had a lot of optimism, excitement, intrigue. There was reports of Sasha Banks and Naomi coming to an agreement and possibly showing up tonight or in the near future. So you had all that right before Raw. So it started off pretty hot with the crowd and everything. But overall, this show was pretty good. Like, it wasn't bad or anything like that. I think maybe because of the news of Sasha Banks and Naomi possibly showing up, people got a lot of their hopes up and probably were like, oh, this show sucked. This is like, no. I can tell you, and if you guys have been watching my reviews for the past few SmackDowns and Raws that I've done, that Triple H, since he's taken over creative, you can notice the little tweaks that he's doing that eventually over time is going to result in big, crazy, like, oh my God, this is so good. But it takes time to do that. And I noticed that today. One thing I did like was they showcased the women that returned. They did not recap and have them for a little segment, and that was it. They were pretty much throughout the whole show, which I did like that. I like the emphasis on the United States title. Finally, they're actually putting emphasis on these titles. And other than that, I mean, this was little tweaks here and there. It's built into something. So the results for this episode of Monday Night Raw, you had AJ Styles defeat Mustafa Ali and The Miz in one of two triple threat matches where the winner of both triple threat matches would face each other in tonight's episode of Raw, and the winner would face Bobby Lashley next week. So yeah, AJ Styles, he defeated Mustafa Ali and The Miz. I'll get into that match and everything. That was a pretty cool match. Then we had Montez Ford. He was defeated by Seth Rollins. That whole scenario was really interesting how that played out. Then you had Alexa Bliss versus Asuka, which resulted in a no contest. Then you had Dolph Ziggler, Chad Gable, and Tommaso Ciampa wrestle in the second triple threat match, and the winner would face AJ Styles. And the winner of this match was Tommaso Ciampa, which I love the AJ Styles Tommaso Ciampa match. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Then you had Io Sky and Bianca Belair, which earlier in the night, Bianca Belair called her out. That resulted in a no contest, which I liked that there were women's matches, but I didn't like that you had two women's matches that resulted in a no contest, which was, I could see both sides. Okay, it makes sense because they were just at each other's throat after what happened to Becky Lynch earlier to start off Raw. But then it's like, okay, I don't know, it was just really interesting how, that call. Then you had Tommaso Ciampa defeat AJ Styles, so Tommaso Ciampa will be facing Bobby Lashley next week on Monday Night Raw. And then in the main event, you had the Mysterios face the Usos for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships, and the Usos defeated the Mysterios with the help of Judgment Day, which I'll break down that. So that is the results of Monday Night Raw. Not too many people outside of this group of people involved. Maybe it's because Triple H is working on something creatively to integrate them into the stories and everything, which makes a lot of sense. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Give them a reason to be in the story and not just put them out there and, oh, let's see what happens. Like, I really like that. So the show started. Crowd was electric. Becky Lynch comes out to the ring in a sling. They recap SummerSlam, Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. One cool note that I noticed about this show was that they have the LED screens all around the barricade at ringside, which I was like, that's interesting. A little tweak. It is what it is. So Becky Lynch, she discusses how she remembered who she was. She made reference to her injury and said, it's a start of a new comeback story. Bianca comes out, and there's a bunch of EST chants, and you have Bianca tell Becky Lynch, "You're the man." And as Becky Lynch is leaving, I thought this line was really cool. Becky Lynch tells Bianca, "Hold it down, B. I'll see you soon." And that verbiage, you can tell that wasn't something on a paper that they were scripted. Like, you could tell this was something that they were freely to say. And again, like I always mention with WWE, now that Triple H is taken over, pay attention to the little things. Like, it's little things like that that will eventually be like this big, oh wow, they can really say that? Woo, whoa. So yeah, that was a pretty cool segment. Then as Bianca's talking, we get a backstage, we cut to the backstage area, which I thought this was cool because this was just random. And you have Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky attacking Becky Lynch, and they put her arm through a chair, step on her, or they slam a chair on it. So she's out there. Bianca runs to the back. Once she gets there, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, they leave and everything. They run off and everything. So it's kind of like their way of like writing off Becky Lynch while she recovers from her injury, which I hope she gets well soon and it's not anything severe. Because watching that SummerSlam match, you could tell something was wrong, and the stuff that these wrestlers, especially the women wrestlers, put their body through to entertain the crowd, man, give them their props, man. So Becky Lynch, get well soon. Then we get a video package of the Legacy of the United States Championship, and I really like this video package because they're re-educating people on the importance of the United States Championship, and that's great. And they added more intrigue to the title by the two matches that they had tonight. So the first match, like I mentioned, was a triple threat match. The winner takes on the winner of the second triple threat match, which was later on. So you had AJ Styles, Mustafa Ali, and The Miz. Before the match started, you get a video from Logan Paul, and he says, I think I may have found my calling. I signed a multi-year deal and a multi-event deal, which I thought in the moment, it's like, oh, that's cool. But then if you think about it, it's like, yeah, they mentioned that he signed, was it last week? Of course, it's going to be a multi-event thing. Like, what? They're just going to have you at SummerSlam and WrestleMania every year? Like, no, they're going to want you to do these little pay-per-views and stuff. Like, no, or premium live events, excuse me. It's like, all right, whatever. But man, this match between AJ Styles, Mustafa Ali, and Miz, I got to say the highlight of this match was Ali. He was on the top rope. He did the 450 splash on Miz, and as he was rolling off the Miz, AJ Styles wound up putting him in the Styles Clash. Hit it, 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles won. That was a dope spot. Again, like I mentioned earlier, like the wrestling tonight was really solid, but for some reason this crowd was just quiet, which I don't understand. The wrestling wasn't boring. It wasn't. It didn't have that lethargic tone or pacing as we've seen before Triple H took over All Creative. Like, it was just solid, and I'm like, why is this crowd so quiet? Like, this match is pretty solid, and the pacing that this match had and the matches afterwards were like, it was up tempo, and for some reason this crowd was quiet. So you get that. Then we get a recap of earlier in the night of Becky Lynch being attacked by Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. So then we get a backstage segment with Becky Lynch with the trainer, and she's just saying, just just give me what I need, and whatever. Let me get out of here. So then we get another backstage segment with Dakota Kai, Bayley, and Io Shirai, and they're basically saying this is about us. And this segment was pretty cool because where they shot it at, they were leaving the building, and as they were leaving, the Usos walked in with the titles, and mind you, these are both heels, and they're just like, hey, what's up? Little things. I like that the heels just clicked with each other, like, hey, we do what we want, you do what we want. Hey, how's it going? And I really like that. The Usos basically were saying they're going to beat the Mysterios twice. Then we get a promo by Seth Rollins. Comes out again. They show a recap of the attack of him on Riddle. Some of these recaps were like, actually, one thing I did like about it was that they recapped. A few of them were just only one, but then there was others where they just kept recapping, which was like, man, it's kind of like, all right, whatever. It was like not feeling the constant recaps, but it hopefully that changes with time. So Rollins comes out. He's like, welcome to Monday Night Rollins. The chant, or the crowd, they say it with Seth Rollins in unison. Seth freaking Rollins, which eventually I would say either by next year, Seth Rollins is going to be a face. Like, they cannot keep this guy a heel for much longer. Like, he's eventually going to go back to being a face. So then you had the Street Profits come out, and you have this exchange between Rollins and the Street Profits. And man, Seth Rollins, I love this line because, again, little things. They know that we see the reports and the rumblings of people saying, man, they should break up, the Street Profits and everything. And Seth Rollins says, you suck so much, you should probably break up. Ooh, man, that was good. So good. And then the Street Profits like, you know what? Enough of this. Why don't one of us face you? And this, again, another little thing that I'm just like, down the road, this is gonna be a part of a storyline eventually. Like, this is seeds planted. So Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, they're like, all right, let's play rock paper scissors. So they have the ref come out to look, and as they're about to do rock paper scissors, Montez Ford grabs the ref and runs to the ring, and the match starts between Seth Rollins and Montez Ford. Which, when that happened, I was like, yo, did he just cheat rock paper scissors? Like, yo, you did that to your man, like your tag team partner. Like, what? And it's like, ooh. So, like, eventually with time, that seed plan, like, man, you're trying to, like, stop me from, just doing this, or, but, man, I want to do this. Like, it's something's going to go down eventually down the road between Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, where it's just like, ooh, okay, this is going to be brought up later on. So you get Montez Ford versus Seth Rollins. It was a pretty solid match. Seth Rollins was working Montez Ford's abs because, of course, if you've seen SummerSlam, he performed the frog splash, and I heard him, like, he took too long to pin, and it cost him the match. But one of the things I liked about this match, and it was more the verbiage, Seth Rollins is on the top rope, and he looks at Montez Ford, and his exact words were, "Who wants the smoke now, bitch?" Ooh. Little things. Clever wording. I liked it. But in the end, man, Seth Rollins, he did the curb stomp on Montez Ford after he missed the frog splash. 1, 2, 3, Seth Rollins win. Another key note about this match, Seth Rollins performed the buckle bomb, which I was like, didn't they kind of like ban that move somewhat after the whole thing that happened with Sting and the stinger, like, that he had in his neck, or no pun intended, but it's like, we're bringing back the buckle bomb. Oh, okay. But man, it was a pretty decent match. Again, the crowd was quiet for most of the match up until the last until Seth Rollins, like the last couple minutes of the match. Like, I was just like, man, this is a pretty solid, like, what's with this crowd? Really weird. Then we get a post-match where Seth Rollins is about to attack Montez Ford. Angelo Dawkins comes in for the save. Again, keep an eye on the Angelo Dawkins-Montez Ford dynamic after the whole grabbing a ref mid rock, paper, scissors, and basically cheated his boy out of an opportunity and everything. So we'll see where that goes. Then in the second hour, we get a recap of Brock and Roman at WrestleMania. Then we have Alexa Bliss versus Asuka. Highlight of this match is that Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai attack Asuka and Alexa Bliss. This causes Bianca Belair to come out. She makes the save, and right away you're just like, man, are they gonna turn this into a 6-man tag right after the break? Like, are they really gonna do it? Like it's one of the most overused tropes in WWE. God, I can't believe I said troops. It is what it is. But it's one of the most overused tropes that they use in their storytelling. And lo and behold, Bianca Belair, she's like, you know what? I want Io Sky tonight. So they make it official. We got Bianca Belair and Io Sky later on. So then we get a recap of what happened just a couple minutes ago with Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Bianca. Then we get the second triple threat match. Dolph Ziggler versus Tommaso Ciampa and Chad Gable. Man, I gotta say, one thing I liked about this match was Dolph Ziggler performing a zigzag while Chad Gable was in mid back suplex motion of Tommaso Ciampa. Like, that was a really cool. Check that out. Like, that was really cool. The timing and the camera shot was like perfect. Like, they didn't cut or anything. They just got it right in sequence. I thought that was really cool. Then you had Tommaso Ciampa do a nasty running knee to Dolph Ziggler as he was running off the ropes. In the end, Tommaso Ciampa performed his fairy tale finisher. 1, 2, 3. Ciampa wins. So later on in this show, we got Tommaso Ciampa versus AJ Styles. Man, this was good. It was like, ooh, somewhat of a fresh matchup. And man, Ciampa could actually win and go on to face Lashley for the U.S. title. It's like, oh, okay, this is intriguing. Then we get a recap of Judgment Day's history. Then Edge comes out. So Edge comes out. He's got skinny jeans and all this other stuff. I like his look. It doesn't bother me. Skinny jeans, it's like a little bit too much. Like, get some regular jeans or something like that. He thanks the Houston crowd. He talks about how he didn't see Judgment Day or Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest turning on him. He said it's time to kill what he created, and I'm going to end Judgment Day. And after he said that, that's when the crowd just went crazy, and it was like, all right, they're alive, and nah, they didn't last that long. Then we get a backstage segment of Dominic. They were saying Judgment Day is in their past. They're focused on the Usos. Then we get a video package of the WWE tryouts in Nashville. Then we get a backstage segment with Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Bayley says, ever since I've been gone, this show has been the women's division has been a downward spiral. And Dakota Kai says, we know how to play the game. And then Io Sky says something. She's like, I'm going to take her down, Bianca Belair. And then we go to the Io Sky Bianca Belair match. This was a really, you could tell they started off kind of slow, and then midway they picked up and they just started doing some crazy spots. Some good stuff. I liked it. The moment where Bianca Belair caught Io Sky doing a frog splash. She picked her up, and it was actually outside. She caught her, and then she like swung her into the barricade, which was like, at first like, oh damn, and then after when you looked at it again, you're like, yo, like you. I was concerned that Io Shirai's head kind of like back, like you could get whiplash and somewhat concussion. Just if like it's weird. That's what I hope she like. I was like, man, I hope she didn't have that. No, she didn't. She didn't have it. She continued the match. Then you have after this, you have Dakota Kai and Bayley come through the crowd. They're walking and they're kind of interrupting, distracting Bianca Belair, and they're trying to get her to, distract her and everything. And then you have Asuka and Alexa Bliss come down at this time. So you have all 6 women even it up. They went to commercial. They came back. Then you had, man, I love this running knee that Io Sky did to Bianca Belair in the bottom turnbuckle. Like, man, that was like, she hit her with some force, man. I really like that. Then eventually we had a brawl between all 6 women. Every agent came out. They're breaking them up. You have the crowd fight. Let them fight. Let them fight. Let them fight. So I would anticipate that we might get a 6-woman tag match next week on Raw, or we might get a singles match between one of the 6 women, excluding we get a rematch with Io Shirai and Bianca Belair, because both matches ended in a no contest. So now thinking about it, I think we might get a 6-woman tag match next week on Raw. From there, we get they introduce Booker T on commentary for the AJ Styles Ciampa match. This match, the winner faces Bobby Lashley next week for the United States Championship. Love this match, man. There's a point where Ciampa attempted to do the air raid clash, countered it into a Styles clash from the top rope. I like that. That was AJ Styles did that move to Ciampa. There was a point where AJ Styles literally had Ciampa beat, and The Miz grabs Ciampa's foot and puts it on the rope, which causes the ref to break the count. At that point, Styles was attacking The Miz. Ciampa threw Styles into the ring post, and then as Styles was, he wound up doing, hitting Styles with a knee, hit Styles with the fairy tale ending. 1, 2, 3. Ciampa wins. He is facing Bobby Lashley next week on Monday Night Raw. I am so excited for that match because I want to see whether Bobby Lashley is going to win, or is Tommaso Ciampa going to win that United States Championship. I hope Ciampa wins. You can tell that, again, Ciampa is a part of Triple H's NXT a few years ago, and he always booked him really well in NXT. So, of course, with the reports of, Ciampa's going to get somewhat of a push. I'm really looking forward to the Lashley Ciampa matchup because I believe this is probably their first matchup, and just what Ciampa presents in the ring and his skill set and what Bobby Lashley does, it's power and agility versus technique and like just strikes, the forearms and everything. So just to see that clash and everything, man, I'm really excited to see how that plays out. And man, with the prospect of Tommaso Ciampa being the United States Championship, if that happens, that is going to tell a bigger story that this is a different WWE creative. Like, Triple H is going to use guys that people were fans of, and like he's going to put them in a position where they are very important to the overall story, and the titles will have meaning, and I'm looking forward to that. I was happy for Ciampa winning. And before it, came out that AJ Styles was fighting Tommaso Ciampa, I was just like, man, I hope we get AJ Styles and Ciampa. I hope we get AJ Styles and Ciampa. When both 6-man tag matches were announced, I'm like, man, I hope we get Styles and AJ, or AJ Styles, Styles and AJ Styles and Ciampa, for the match that eventually leads to whoever faced Bobby Lashley. So we'll see what happens. But man, Ciampa, Lashley next week for the United States Championship. A lot of people are going to be intrigued by that, and a lot of people are going to tune into that, especially me. I want to see how that goes, and knowing Triple H's history as far as booking championship matches in NXT, we're in for a treat next week. That's all I got to say. We're in for a treat. Then we get the backstage segment with Bobby Lashley. He's like, man, I'm a U.S. champ. I'll defend it every week, and Ciampa, he deserved it. He proved it. And then, of course, they announced next week Lashley and Ciampa are fighting. Then we get the Mysterios versus the Usos. And this was an okay match. I'm surprised that I can see why they wanted to end this match for the main event, or why they wanted this match to be the main event because of what happened at the end. Me personally, it would have been cool to have Ciampa and Styles close out the show. For the simple fact, you put an importance on the United States, an even greater importance on the United States title. But seeing how this played out, it makes sense. It keeps people tuned in to what's going to happen with Edge and Judgment Day. So, there was a point in this match where Rey Mysterio was on the second rope and he tried to do somewhat of a cross body, and in mid-air motion, freaking Jey Uso super kicked him. Like, that whole fluidity of that sequence, man, was just perfect, man. That was so cool. Then you had a point in the match where Rey and Dominic did the double 619. They tried to pin. There was a kick out and everything. Then you had Rey and Jimmy Uso outside the ring. Jey Uso outside the ring. So Dominic, he's about to do the 619. Before he does it, he's taking a long time to do it. Before he did attempted to do the 619, Jey Uso tags in Jimmy Uso. And as Dominic is running to do the 619, they perform the Usos' finisher move. 1, 2, 3. The Usos defeat the Mysterios. So you have that whole dynamic, and they're just like, you could tell the Mysterios, like, they were just distraught, like, oh, we lost. And then out of nowhere, you have Judgment Day come in. So they're just beating the hell out of each other. And there's a shot where Rhea Ripley, man, she must enjoy beating the hell out of Dominic Mysterio, because she's been doing that ever since. And she has like a leg lock on his upper, like around his neck, choking him out and everything. And lo and behold, Edge music hits. He comes out. He's beating up people. And the way this sequence came about, I liked it. So you had Edge waiting to spear Finn Balor, and he's groggy, and you have Dominic on the ropes, and he's just laying there, and you have Rhea Ripley on the outside. She pushes Dominic, which causes Finn Balor to fall while Edge is attempting a spear, which Edge winds up spearing Dominic. Judgment Day runs away, or Damian Priest and Finn Balor, they run away. Edge chases them, and you have Rhea Ripley laughing and like snickering at Rey Mysterio. They leave. That's how the show finishes. The officials are checking on Dominic and everything. That was Monday Night Raw. Like I said, this was not a perfect show, but it was a very good show. My gripe with the show was the crowd. I don't know what the crowd was expecting, or like, it was just really weird how this crowd was so quiet for a pretty good in-ring action for the WWE and what Triple H booked and everything. I'm really shocked and surprised. They were so quiet. But man, I am looking forward to Tommaso Ciampa, Bobby Lashley next week. I hope it main events. But man, I am looking forward to it. Bobby Lashley has been having some great matches in the past few weeks. Tommaso Ciampa, we know what he can do. Finally, he's getting put into that position where he's not just the Miz is slacky. Like now it's like, okay, this guy is someone of importance and a threat to, if you're trying to get championships and climb up the ladder, like he's a threat. And I really like that. So, of course, with the dynamic with the women's division with Bianca Belair, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Dakota Kai, Bayley, Io Sky, that whole dynamic, that's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. I know SmackDown, there's going to be a lot of anticipation for that show because more than likely, if it is true that Sasha Banks and Naomi have come to an agreement, more than likely they're probably going to show up on this Friday's SmackDown, which I would not be surprised because Sasha Banks did that not too long ago where she was off for a while and then she reappeared out randomly. So we'll see what happens. But man, Triple H is doing a pretty good job with the booking and just the little things. And it's not going to happen overnight, but with time, this is going to be an exciting product. I think that's one thing that Triple H has brought to the WWE programming is excitement, optimism, and just intrigue, where nothing really, really crazy, like, oh my God, has happened, but he's planting the seeds to get to there. And all you can do is enjoy it and like, hey, this is cool. So we'll see what happens. But man, I had fun watching Raw tonight. It wasn't the repetitive stuff that we've seen prior to Triple H taking over WWE Monday Night Raw and all of WWE Creative. So we'll see what happens next week, and we'll see what happens on SmackDown this Friday. So that is my review for WWE Monday Night Raw, August 1st. Forgive me, guys. It's got to get used to it. The August 1st episode of WWE Monday Night Raw. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notifications. Yes, hit the bell and notifications so you are notified when new content is up with House of Wrestling. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And until next time,